Hi, I'm Alicia and this is What's Cooking. Tonight I'm making an egg casserole, or as my grandma Lil used to call, a Mexican egg casserole. We're gonna start by whisking our eggs and then adding cottage cheese, salt, pepper, baking powder, butter, flour, and some Ortega chilies. Mix all it up, bake it in a 9x13 pan, and it's done in less than an hour. So let's get cooking. To start, I've got 12 large eggs. I'm gonna crack them, whisk them up with some salt and pepper, and then start adding the rest of the ingredients. Growing up, my grandma Lil made this recipe every year for Easter. We always had Easter brunch at her house, and this is what she would make every Easter. I can't remember a time that we didn't have this for at my grandma's house. I asked my mom, she couldn't remember either. It's been that long. But growing up, the Ortega chilies, she's like, yeah, I used to sit there and just pick those out. I used to call them the little green things, and I didn't want to eat the little green things, so I picked them out. So when I was deciding what to make for my Christmas breakfast, something that I can make, you know, start overnight and then bake it off in the morning, I first thought of, you know, these eggs, since it's something that we had every year, something that was special to my family. It was a natural choice for me to make for mine. So now that I've got all of my eggs cracked, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and we're gonna lightly whisk that up. You just wanna make sure all the eggs are nice and incorporated. All right. Those look good. Okay, and now we're gonna add 16 ounces of cottage cheese. We're gonna add our ½ cup of flour, add our teaspoon of baking powder. We have 1 stick or ½ cup of really soft butter. We're gonna go ahead and give this a whisk around. Okay. All right, we're gonna add our 16 ounces of cheese. And then the Ortega chilies, like I said, growing up, I didn't like the little green things. Well, some of my family doesn't like the little green things either, but I feel that the flavor it gives is good. So now I just use the juice. I'm just gonna use a strainer, dump that all out, and then just press out as much of the juice as you can. Just gives a little extra flavor, a little bit more spice. You can also add meat to this. I will share in the recipe a few different meat options that would be good inside these eggs as well. So now we're just gonna go ahead and give this another whisk. I've sprayed a 9x13 pan, then I'm just gonna pour that in there. We just use the juice of the Ortega chilies since my family does not like the little green things in there. I put them in a Ziploc, I stick them in the freezer, and I use that for other recipes. Just make sure those are all nice and even. All right, and now at this point, if you're making this overnight for Christmas breakfast, you'll stick a lid on it, pop it in the fridge, and take it out for the morning. If you're making this any other time, it can go straight in the oven at this point at 350, 45 to 55 minutes. All right, they look good. They look done. Just to make sure, we're gonna get our instant read thermometer. We want it to be at least 165. It's reading 185. We're gonna go ahead and let this rest. Right now it's nice and golden. It's fluffy. It will flatten out as it cools. This baked for 40 minutes at 350. If you decide to do like an add-in of like a meat, which we'll have in our description box of different options, it might take a few more minutes, closer to that 45 or 50 minutes. So you just want to check it starting at 40 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and let this rest for like 5 minutes before we cut into it. And then we'll plate it up with the rest of our meal and enjoy it. All right, so we've let our eggs rest for 5 minutes, and now we're gonna plate them up. Tonight we made some beef bacon and some of our overnight French toast casserole. Our egg casserole. Look how fluffy that is inside. It's not gooey, it's done. Not overbaked, it's great. Yep, that's yummy. You get the nice fluffy eggs, you get the cheesiness, even this little crisp outer edge. It's kind of like if you ever had the side of like mac and cheese where it like caramelizes kind of thing. That's what that does, which is super yummy. If you like salsa, drizzle some salsa on it. As you saw, it preps really easy. You can mix it all up in one bowl, bake in another dish. It's great for potlucks. Just reminds me of my grandma and eating this every year with her. So I hope you enjoy. If you missed last week's episode of our overnight French toast, just click here. Don't forget to check us out next Sunday at 9 for our last Christmas casserole recipe.